Apologize. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I do apologize. It looks like we're having a little technical difficulty. Thank you so much for joining TouchLink, our organization. Before I begin, I want to talk a little bit about TouchLink. We are a nonprofit organization that empowers and uplifts victims of domestic violence. Tonight's seminar, we will be having a discussion about sexual assault. I'm going to be introducing our moderator for tonight. Our moderator for tonight is Anike Panki. Anike Panki will be introducing our speaker for tonight. But before we go into our discussion and before our moderator come on, I want to give you a warm welcome with music. I hope this warms your spirit, and I hope you feel welcome and comfortable in regards to tonight's discussion. So I'm going to go ahead and play a video for you guys. Can you hear me? Can you hear the music, guys?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. So guys, we're just waiting for some more people to join us, but in the meantime, please enjoy the music.
I don't hear it.
Good evening. Tiffany, we're not able to hear the music, but I can go ahead and start if that's okay with everyone.
I think that should be okay. I think we can get started.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Ananike Panki, and thank you for joining this event on this glorious evening. Thank you, thank you, thank you. TouchLink appreciates you, and we are so glad that you dialed in on this evening. You could have been anywhere else, but you decided to join us, and you guys are in for a treat. Tonight, we're going to have Elise Riviera speak to you. She is a full spectrum doula, a childbirth educator, a child abuse advocate, a domestic violence advocate, an LGBTQIA+ advocate. Not only that, she is a survivor of abuse. She has used enough strength. She has used her strength to support others that are going through in their life's journeys as well. She is supported by her wife and her 4 children. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to turn your attention to Miss Elise Riviera at this time.
Hi, everybody. My name is Aelis Rivera. I am a full spectrum doula. I currently live in Florida. I'm originally from New York, Bronx, New York. As Anike said, I am a survivor of pretty much all forms of abuse. I am a survivor of child abuse, child rape, adult rape, domestic violence. And I ultimately, with the domestic violence, I had all forms of the spectrum of abuse when it comes down to financial abuse, mental abuse, spiritual abuse, sexual abuse, and it all goes in a circle. Due to the fact that I was abused as a child, I didn't know my boundaries. I didn't know how to say no, when to say no. Always made excuses for my abusers. Well, at least they're not doing this, or at least they're not doing that. And it took for my youngest child to turn 1, and I said, okay, enough is enough. I didn't want it to affect my children. My children and I went into a domestic violence shelter, and we restarted our lives. And then there realized that the sexual abuse that I was receiving in my partnership was actually sexual assault. But there is a very big misconception that people have that when you are in an intimate relationship, you cannot experience rape or you cannot experience sexual assault. And that is nothing further from the truth. No means no. If you tell your partner, I don't want to, and you are coerced, or you're pushed into it, or you're bullied into it, it's sexual assault. If it's taken without your consent, it's sexual assault. It took me, I'm 48 years old now. It took me quite a long time to heal and to understand who I am as a person. And out of the pain and out of it all, I turned it all into attempting to help others in the same situation. Sometimes we don't think that with our story, we can help others. But sometimes by just sharing what you have been through and what you have survived through, you can help others. And people going through abuse, they are survivors because they're surviving every single day. Most of us know that the hardest thing to do, and sometimes the most dangerous thing to do, is leave your situation. I have experienced cracked ribs, cracked jaw, pretty much everything. But I left and I took my life back, not only for me, but for my children. My children range from the ages of 19 to 27. This year, everyone will be 20 to 28. So relearning how to parent adults has been interesting. Due to the fact of my experiences of surviving abuse, I made it a point of teaching my children how to respect their individuality and their autonomy. And I never pushed my children to go hug Uncle so-and-so or go hug Auntie so-and-so. I was, we culturally, we come from a place sometimes we're like, don't be disrespectful and go sit on so-and-so's lap and hug so-and-so. But I broke that cycle with my children and, got a lot of backlash sometimes from people saying, your children are a little rude. Why don't they come and they hug me? Because they don't have to. They have their own choice of whether or not they want to hug anybody, whether or not they want to share their personal space with anybody. And I think that it is up to us that we can break those generational curses, and we can set the precedence of teaching the little ones that it's okay to say no. And it's okay to come to us and be like, so-and-so touched my shoulders or hugged me for a little too long, and it didn't make me feel good. That's very, very important. I'm just gonna read a couple statistics that are very, very interesting. 1 in 4 women, 1 in 6 men are sexually assaulted in their lifetime. In 8 out of 10 rape cases, the victim knows their attacker. 1 in 2 trans individuals will experience sexual violence. 1 in 4 bisexual women will experience sexual violence. 2 out of 5 gay men will be sexually abused in their lifetime. Nearly 6 out of 10 sexual assaults occur in a victim's home or home of a friend, relative, or neighbor. 13.3% of college individuals say they have been forced to having sex in a dating situation, or sometimes going to someone's dorm and studying, so on and so forth. Only 28% of victims report their sexual assault to police. Only 2% of all sexual assaults reported to the police turn out to be false. Among developmentally disabled adults, up to 83% of them are female, 32% are males. I also wanted to bring in a point that I've talked about this in the past, that when a child is stripped of their boundaries and they're sexually assaulted as a child, or even physically assaulted as a child, or even mentally assaulted as a child, when they grow older, and especially if they have come forth and they have said, hey, this has happened to me, and either they're hushed, they're punished. As they get older, they will not report because they feel, well, no one protected me as a child, and no one saw what I was going through as a child and did anything about it. So why would they do anything now that I'm an adult? So it's knowing these warning signs and just trying to help anyone around you. There's so many organizations like TouchLink. In Jersey, there was the Woodbridge Township for Domestic Violence. I'm in Florida now, so there's different organizations here. Nationwide, there is the National Domestic Violence, and you can go ahead and what initiatives have you taken as a parent to educate yourself and your child about domestic violence? Well, as my children, as soon as they were able to speak and they were aware of their surroundings, I made it a point of teaching them the correct words for their intimate parts. It was not a tutu or foo-foo or a winky. No, I taught them the correct words: penis, vagina. Taught them that no one is allowed to touch them in any which way. Let them know that I didn't care who it was, an aunt, an uncle, a grandma, a grandpa, anyone at all, their other parents, to let me know if anyone made them feel comfortable. Exactly. Nicknames do not work in court because it is seen as they're lying or they're making it up. So that's extremely important. Letting them know, letting them have their own autonomy, letting them know that it's okay. Absolutely not. You cannot hug me. You cannot come too close to me. I don't want that. I don't want to sit on your lap. I think breaking those cycles that a lot of us kind of grew up in is extremely important. And if you see somebody young, or if you see someone, no matter who it is, and you kind of have a feeling about it, sit and hear them, listen to them. It's very different sitting and having a conversation with somebody and kind of and giving your opinion, but you have to actually hear someone and listen to every single thing that is that they say, because in little tiny cues, they can be telling you the truth of what it is that they're going through. I do birth work, and a lot of times with some of my clients, sexual abuse will come out while they are laboring, things that they never thought of before. So it's very important to, yes, pay attention to body language. You know, sometimes you'll see someone and you go to hug them. I'm Puerto Rican, so I like to hug everybody, right? That's how we are. It's a bad habit. And it took me a while to try to get out of it. But you go to hug somebody and they kind of go like this, you know. It's very important to watch the cues, you know, respect everybody where they're at. My children, I taught them at a very, very young age. And my son at 10 years old, he had a teacher who kept grabbing his shoulder. And he told his teacher, you're in my personal space. I'm sorry, hold on one second. You know, have them, you know, he's on my personal space. He keeps touching me. And I told him, well, you know, you need to ask him to please stop touching you. And I went to the school. So ultimately what he did at 10 years old, he went to the front desk and asked to file a report. And he filed a report on the teacher, saying the teacher was constantly touching him, and it was making him very uncomfortable. And I was very proud of my son for doing that, because no one has the right to touch you when you say no. I think we're in a culture right now where there's a lot of victim blaming, and it's always been that way. Why didn't you report earlier? Why didn't you just say no? You know, all the things that they like to say. Someone who has been sexually assaulted is not broken. You know, it's not to look at them in a sad way or a pity way. No, it's all about respecting people where they're at. You know, I love the work that TouchLink is doing. I've known them for a very, very long time. I miss everybody there. I miss my family in Jersey, and the beautiful work that they're doing. Does anyone have any questions? I'm an open book, so I'm willing to share anything.
We miss you here in New Jersey too.
So what I want to say to everybody that's on this platform this evening, we want you to ask your questions. If you don't want to ask your question, you can put it in the chat and I'll read it. Because like Elise said, in order for us to grow and help others, we have to communicate that. So here is a question. It's in the chat. It says, like you said, sometimes sexual assault of children is penetrated by family members or close folks. In addition to educating their kids, how can parents protect their little ones by not letting them alone, by not leaving them alone in room with those close people? That's one. And then it says, that might sound extreme and could lead to other issues, but what can parents do, particularly, especially for like a 2-year-old?
So I will share that my sexual abuse began at 4 years old. So I was sexually abused from the age of 4 to 12. I knew immediately that it felt wrong. It was wrong, you know, for a 2-year-old. At 1 years old, and they're starting to speak between 1 and 2. You can teach them, you know, if they're not very verbal, you know, you can tell them down here, no, you know, their backside, no. It may seem extreme to a lot of people, that you kind of have your child close to you at some times, at all times, but at the end of the day, that's your child. And no one has the right to tell you how to raise your child. No one has the right to tell you you're being too protective over your child. Because maybe if people were a little bit more protective of their children and didn't leave them with anybody and everybody, and even close family members. I was abused by close family members, that people never in a million years would ever think. And it would even get to the point that it would be like, she's being disrespectful. I asked her to do something and she's being disrespectful. So I would get in trouble for that. But we have to protect the little ones. I think about feeling guilty. It's knowing that at the end of the day, you brought that seed into the world, no one else. And our culture is a lot of set in that guilt kind of culture, right? And that's okay. That's okay. That's okay that, if someone doesn't like it, oh well, because we're protecting ours. It's I feel right now we're in a level of there's a very different mindset I'm seeing with the younger families, and they are shielding their children. They are holding their children a little closer, and that's a wonderful thing.
So I just want to also take a look at the question that I know you answered another question that came up in regards to setting boundaries. So how do we set boundaries? Because I know that you said it's okay for you to love your children. It's okay for your children to understand that uncle, brother, sister,
grandma, grandpa,
whomever cannot touch your vagina, cannot touch your penis, right? We are adults. Those words have to be used. I have worked in this profession for 23 years.
Yes.
If you say pocketbook and ding ding, it doesn't work in court. So how do we set boundaries about personal space, and how are we supposed to receive the news when it says, Grandpa touched my penis? How are we supposed to receive the news? Because I also feel that when people hear the news, they want to automatically, like you said earlier, begin to feel guilty, don't want people to know, become ashamed, and don't get the child the help. And we know that in most cases, when a child is abused, an abused child that doesn't get that help becomes an abuser. So how do we—
an abuser and an abused adult.
That's right.
Yes.
So how do we help break that cycle?
I feel that with situations like that, as the parents, we have the right to tell people, no, you cannot. I'm sorry. I'm not even sorry, but these are our rules as parents. These are our boundaries as parents. And if you can't accept it, then I'm sorry for you, but this is the way we are raising our children. It's very difficult at times, especially because, you'll have family members who be like, oh my God, I can't hug the baby. I can't kiss the baby. And, but that's my blood. That's my family. But you are the parent. You are in control. They are not. And as far as receiving the news, like I said before, you know, we were all kind of raised up in the bubble of shame and of guilt. And no one can break that curse but us. And as soon as we hear the news that our child has been abused, it is up to us to bring the child immediately to the hospital to get physically checked out and get that child some form of therapy. And as a parent, you have to receive some form of therapy as well. Because as a parent, you're going to go through all the things in your mind of, what did I do? Why did I leave my baby at so-and-so's house for 2.5 seconds because I went to go get some milk and I didn't want to put their coat on? Or I had to go to work and I left them with this person. It's all about receiving the help. We have to break down the stigma that mental health is bad, and just receiving that help that we require. Also, I think there's a huge fear that our children will be removed from their home. That's a very, very, very big fear, especially for Brown and Black families. Our children are removed immediately for no reason many times. So it is, it's very, very difficult. So maybe going somewhere, reaching out to TouchLink or Safe Horizons or a local domestic violence place that you can speak almost privately to them and see what your options are and knowing your rights, because our children can be taken away, and it happens all the time. That's a huge fear.
So Elise, I hear what you're saying. And for those people that are on the line, I understand that there is a fear. There's a fear that if I tell this, they're going to say I was a bad parent. However, I have a friend that her baby was taken away at 2 years old, but taken away into a coffin because she was sexually abused and her heart was busted. So, you know, a temporary takeaway is better than a takeaway off of this planet.
Yes.
And she was 2 years old. I have questions in the chat, so I want to be able to go from there. And I'm not trying to sound harsh, but I want you guys to reach out to TouchLink. I want you to reach out to the different organizations here. TouchLink is a very, very resourceful organization, and we are here to help you. We're not judging you. We're not judging you. We're just here to help you to get out of that situation, to save you, to save your children. So you can always visit us on touchlink.org. There'll be more information. Now, no one ever expects the father of the child to abuse their child, but this happens. And there are signs. Elise, I don't know if you had the opportunity to speak to moms that have, or dads that have, the parents are sexually abusing their child.
Yes.
As an auntie, as an uncle, as a friend,
Yes.
as a caregiver, how do I detect those warning signs?
Children will be very overt with the things that they say, that people just like, oh my goodness, that baby fast. Oh, that baby's so fresh, that baby's saying this and that. Babies don't know sex. They do not know. So if a baby's sitting there, I'm gonna use our little Cabbage Patch, right? So if a baby sits there and you see that they keep taking the dolly's clothes off, and all their dollies are naked and they're putting them together, okay? If they don't want to take a bath, you try to put them in the bath and they're screaming and going, like losing it, okay? If you go to hug your baby and your baby's like doing this and no. Night terrors is one of the biggest things. Not wanting to go to sleep alone. Urination in the bed because they don't want to get up. They're scared to get up out of the bed. Yes, bruising around the genitals, odd discharges, and boys have it as well, and their anus and their penises, the little girls' vaginas and their anuses. Sometimes you'll see like weird marks around their breast area, their nipples. Yes, humping and rubbing, just doing very overt sexual, mimicking sexual things. Those are things that we need to look out for. And as an auntie, right? And as a friend, that's the last thing in the world that we want to suspect or think about. But that's when we have a gentle conversation with the little one. You know, how are you? Are you okay? How are you feeling? And just very, very, very slowly have little conversations with them to try to see. Constant urinary tract infections is a big, big sign. Not wanting to eat, not wanting to drink, crying, excessive crying, or having meltdowns for something very small, like their crayon broke and it's a huge meltdown, like a humongous meltdown. It's not like we say in Spanish, malcriado. The baby's not malcriado. It's not, the baby's not is being bad, or malcriado means they're badly raised. Okay, that's a term that they use a lot. And it's not the child is being that is a warning sign that there's something going on. Yes, inspecting your child's body is very important. When you're giving them a bath or undressing them, just looking to see if they go to sit and you see they're having a hard time sitting. But I would say 8 out of 10 times, they will start getting some type of infections down there from unclean hands touching them, objects touching them down there. Yes, communication. That's why it's very important to start that communication at a very, very, very young age.
So Elise, we have a comment in the chat, and I do want to tell you that I used to do body checks for Child Protection Team in West Palm Beach, Florida. And so I have seen it all. And it's very important that we ask questions and wait for the answer and let them finish. I know that the answer may be upsetting, but let them finish, because they will tell you more. Okay, they will tell you more if it's happening. They will tell you more. So there's a comment, and it says, I think that as a community, we all have to shift our mindset to respecting and appreciating boundaries just in general. If we truly believe in boundaries in all areas of our lives, then it wouldn't be so foreign when someone else sets them for any given topic. As human beings, it's easy to recognize personal boundaries, but also easy to scoff at someone else setting their own boundaries. I think we all have a role to play in understanding that fire in a neighbor's house increases chances of fire in your own house. Wow, that is so, so, so true. That is so true. So parents, ask questions, wait for the answer, reach out for help. This is why it is important for all of you to join TouchLink, be a part of TouchLink, look and read the vision, help us fundraise, support us, empower, uplift victims that are experiencing domestic violence, right? Please note that 100% of our proceeds raised go towards helping domestic violence victims and supporting the victims that are in need today. Your money isn't pocketed, but it is here. It is used to help others. And we want you to make sure that you know that we are here to help you. At least I didn't want to take a lot from you.
No, I also wanna bring up that Sometimes you have to ask a child more than once, more than twice, more than 5 times, because there is such an intimidation level that comes along with assault that the child may be petrified to say yes or no. They're just so incredibly scared. I know I was scared. One of my abusers would tell me, if you say anything, I'm going to kill your mom. And he would walk me up to my house. It was an uncle, and he would walk me up to my house, and my mom would be like, how was she this weekend? Oh, she was terrible. She didn't listen. She was so disrespectful, so on and so forth. And, that the time, I'm 48. So back then you got a spanking from everybody, from your whole family, from the neighbors, from everybody. That's just the way it was back then. So you got punished for being disrespectful. So there's a level of intimidation. A child will say no a million times, just like someone in their adulthood who's being abused. They will say no 5 and 6 times before finally breaking down and saying, yes, I am being abused. So there has to be a huge level of patience that you have to have when hearing these children.
And it's just like you said, we have to be able to hear and receive. I remember a little girl spent the night over my house. She had to be about 4. My son was about 5. And they were in the room. They had bunk beds. And she was spending the night over, and she crawled in the top of the bed and got in bed with my son. And I just went to go check on him. And she had her arm over him. And she wanted to play boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah.
And my son didn't know what boyfriend, girlfriend was. And so when I went in there, I was like, what's happening? He's like, she want to play boyfriend, girlfriend. And so instead of getting upset about it, you know what I did? I pulled her in, and I wanted her to tell me what was boyfriend, girlfriend. I wanted to know, how do we play that game, right? I wanted to know everything, every detail about that game, because I knew that someone else was playing boyfriend, girlfriend with that 4 years old. So right here, it says, it's amazing how we parents sometimes expose our children, right, to abuse and choose to believe strangers. Sometimes we don't even want to believe our kids. You don't know what you're talking about. Go sit down somewhere, right? But I encourage you to just get down to their level. Don't stand over them, because you also look scary, right? To a 4-year-old that's that short, you look scary. Go down to their eye level. And like I used to tell my kids, nobody's going to hurt mommy. Nobody's going to kill me. If anybody ever tell you that, nobody's going to kill me, because you know what? Mommy will really get them for you. So if anybody touches you or does anything, you tell me. And that's how I always talk to my kids. You're not a bad kid. You didn't do anything. So no one touches your penis. No one touches your vagina. Of course, I have a boy and a girl.
Exactly.
But you have to be able to be in their eye. No matter how hard we are in a daily life, guys, you got to get to that soft voice tone. You got to be in their eyes, and you have to be able to tell them, I'm here for you. So I want to make sure that I am reiterating just what Elise is saying, but I want you guys to know that I had to have that talk, right? I had to do that. And if you never had that talk, please have that talk. If you need help having that talk, please reach out to TouchLink, right? Reach out to TouchLink, and we have people that will help you. All right, Elise?
Yes. That's like exactly everything that you said. You suspect someone like a family member. How do you ask the question with your child? Just curious. Ask the question. Don't sugarcoat it. Ask the question. Did Theo so-and-so, did they make you feel uncomfortable? Was everything okay this weekend? Did you feel funny? Did you feel uncomfortable? I noticed that when you walked through the door, your face changed a little bit. With me, I was always with my kids was their energy. I said, are you okay? Your energy seems a little funny. What happened? You were smiling and you were laughing. And when some XYZ walked into the room, everything, you turned inside out and upside down. What happened? Tell me it's okay. You know, that's a big thing that you notice too. You can always notice in a child's face, or if all of a sudden they become real jittery, or if they start acting out in weird ways.
They don't want to be around.
Yeah.
When that person's there. We have a question. When you do find out, your kid tells you, you ask the question. Now, what's next? Do we confront the abuser? Do we call the cops? Do we call our family?
There has to be a chain. There has to be a chain of how everything is, a chain of discovery, a chain of evidence, of everything. That's why I reach out to TouchLink, reach out to different organizations in your area and find out this is the issue. This is exactly what is happening. You can reach out to RAINN. RAINN is one of the big national sexual abuse organizations nationwide. This is the situation of what has happened. What can I do? And they will give you the steps of what needs to be done. Get your child immediately checked out, physically, mentally. Get yourself checked out mentally as well. And once you have everything, then they will automatically say, okay, let's call the police, and you will file what you need to file. And let the, automatically as a parent, you want to tear somebody up for touching your baby. Okay, that's just the bottom line. But then we have to think about, okay, I go ahead and I tear this person up, and then I'm in jail, then what happens to my baby? You know, you have to follow a chain, not a chain of command, but a chain of evidence to make sure that this person is fully persecuted to all extent of matters that they can be. I wouldn't confront the abuser, because if you don't have a backup plan, because you never know, they could come into your home and hurt your baby or hurt you. I would go through the chain and make sure things are taken care of in a correct way, because, you know, make sure that your child gets all the help that they can possibly get.
Thanks for that answer. So the reason why Elise is really saying you have to go about it the correct way is because of this. You want to be able to persecute to the fullest extent of the law. If you take matters into your own hand, you could possibly jeopardize something. You do not want to jeopardize anything. And I will tell you, me being from Brooklyn, New York, sometimes you want to take things into your own hand, but by God's grace, you know, you do it the right way. So it says, but what about ensuring that person no longer has access to the child during the investigation? I like this. There's something called a no contact order. If it's a parent, there's something called a no contact order. You will be issued an emergency no contact order. If they come around you or that child, they will go to jail until
just like a temporary order of protection as an adult you get. Mm-hmm. It's the same
but this
thing.
one is like way stronger. It just really works.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
They said, what if the abuser is the parent? Then, you know, no one wants to call child services, but sometimes we have to, you know, and see if let them know their concerns. Maybe I've seen some people with their phones, like video the conversations that they have with the little one, or record everything that you see, everything that you hear, write it down, the date, the time, what the baby had on, you know, what your child had on, what your child said, every single thing recorded, because every single piece of evidence is so incredibly important. Because the way the system is set up sometimes is they love to re-victimize the victim and blame the victim. So we have to make sure that we have all our I's dotted and all our T's crossed.
So thank you so much, Elise. So ladies
you.
and gentlemen, what I hope that you're taking with you tonight, that abuse, whether it's sexual or verbal, whatever it is, no means no. Tonight, we're talking about sexual abuse. No means no. We need you to pay attention to the verbal cues, to the body language, to the different things that your child may be doing, even if they're now a teenager, whatever it is, pay attention. And although we're adults, sometimes we have to listen, not interrupt, listen. So at this time, I want to ask all of you out there to please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please, please, please. Not only that, I want you to also know that we know that TouchLink is a nonprofit organization, but not only that, it takes resources to help. It takes resources. And if you go to QGive, you can help us fundraise. You can help us by supporting the vision. So please go to QServe. Remember, 100% of the proceeds raised go towards helping domestic violence victims and also supporting those women that are going through now. Some people have to get up and leave in the wee hours of the morning. We have kits ready for those women. So please, if you can, get 1 kit, get 2 kit, get 5, whatever you can do. Please go to QGive and give today. So now, let's see. I want to turn it over. Well, first, I want to thank you on this evening. I know that we have a video that they would like to try to share, but before we even start the video, I want to turn it over to Tiffany. So Tiffany can go over our upcoming events. At least I want to say that it has been a joyous time and we have learned so much from you. We really, on behalf of TouchLink and DY, we want to thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for educating us. So right now I'm going to turn it over to Tiffany. Tiffany.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our seminar tonight. We do have more upcoming events this week and next week. So be sure to join, to go to our website, www.touchlink.org/rally to register for the event. All of our events are free. And again, that's www.touchlink.org/events/rally. For our fundraiser, you can go to www.eventbrite.com/2021 rally. We posted the link in the chat, so take a look at the chat. You'll be able to see that link. We are trying to reach our fundraiser goal. So please, guys, share our flyers on social media. Also, we want to also thank Alice for joining us today and doing this powerful speak about sexual assault. It was packed with a lot of information that I'm sure will be useful for not only you and your family, but for other people that might be interested in learning more about the topic of sexual assault. If you have any questions, you can visit our page. We have ways that you can contact us. If you go on our page, you will see that we do have, you can contact us at touchlink.org@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us by phone, 866-682-4626. Other than that, guys, we are going to conclude. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to play a video for you, but I am having a little technical difficulty in sharing my screen, and I do apologize for that. Gonna ask if my host can assist me with this one. I don't want to linger too long. My apologies. One moment. Anike, I'm so sorry to call you out. Are you able to share your screen? I'm not seeing
Is
that I
having
have the
some
ability.
technical?
Yeah, I'm sorry
Okay, so
about that.
I'll look and I'll see. I will try to pull it up for you right now. But I want to make sure that I'll let you guys know that we have all of our information in the chat where you could join us, where you can learn more
Yes.
about us.
I do apologize. Just to be clear, seminars are Mondays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. So that's Mondays and Thursdays until October 31st, when we have our final walk.
But
I
you can
apologize for
still
having-
always partner with TouchLink. You go to touchlink.org. Our information is in the chat, and you're going to learn more here on this video. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You could have been anywhere else, but you decided to join us on this evening. Please watch this video. Please. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you remember how when you were younger the summers all lasted for?
Anike, I think the video stopped playing. We're not able to hear the video again, so I do apologize, everyone. We do have a little technical issue in sharing the screen.
Do you remember how when you were younger the summers
All right,
all
ladies and gentlemen.
lasted forever?
There's something going on with the video. However, you guys had an awesome evening. You learned how to listen and to be attentive, to ask those questions. And still, we want to thank Elise for being an awesome guest. But we want to thank all of you, all of our volunteers, all of our victims. We want to thank all of our supporters. And we want you all to know that TouchLink cares and values you. So please, please, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and help us raise the funds for this year's goal. You can go to touchlink.org for more information.